Good evening, everyone. Welcome. Dr. Staci here. Excited to see your smiling faces again tonight, or if you're watching the replay. Hi. Thank you so much for tuning in to hear more about LifeWave's technology. We are continuing our longevity series, interviewing different doctors and practitioners and how they're using this in their practice with their clients and their patients. And tonight I have a very special guest. I'm so excited. This is the first time she's been on our Zoom. So I can't wait for you to hear from her and how she works in her practice and what she has noticed and all the amazing things. But before I do, a couple things. I first want to share with you that I am not a medical doctor. Dr. Kayla is not a medical doctor. We are not your doctors, unless maybe you're one of Dr. Kayla's patients listening in. That may be the situation. But we are not here to make any claims to treat, cure, diagnose, prevent anything that's going on with you. If you're on medications, pregnant, nursing, or a child, please check with your doctor or your healthcare practitioner, and they'll be able to best guide you in your wellness journey. The information that Dr. Kayla is going to be sharing tonight is for informational purposes only about LifeWave's technology and how it can help you and benefit you in your life with your family. So, to get started, Dr. Kayla is a pediatric, prenatal, and women's health chiropractor whose mission is to guide individuals back to the self healing power of their innate intelligence and their inner wisdom that allows us to witness true restoration. She holds a doctorate in chiropractic, a master's degree in nutrition and human performance, and a bachelor's degree in exercise physiology with minors in biology and chemistry. In addition, she earned a postdoctoral certification in animal chiropractic and is a practitioner of German healing knowledge. Personally, love that information. Bringing the lens of the biological laws of nature and meaningful adaptive conflict resolution to health and wellness. For the past 7 years, Dr. Kayla has run a thriving private practice, chiropractic practice, while also leading a virtual online healing ministry that serves individuals and families worldwide. She's also a published author of 4 children's books and the creator of the Sacred Rhythm Homeschool Collection, a series of curriculum and rhythms designed to directly connect children to spirit and nature while restoring wonder, curiosity, and family connection at the heart of education. With specialized training in prenatal and pediatric care, Dr. Kayla is dedicated to activating mothers, children, and families in thriving through natural, non-invasive approaches that honor the body's design. She weaves science, philosophy, quantum physics, and spirit into her care, guiding her community with deep expertise, compassion, and a commitment to help others embody true health and vitality. I will be posting her website and her YouTube channel in the comments of this Zoom in the description after we are finished. I wish you were in my area, Dr. Kayla. That bio sounds exactly right up my alley. All of the above, please, and thank you. So please come on and tell us a little bit more about your background. Obviously, I've just shared some, but tell us about your practice and what you do and who you are before we kind of dive into LifeWave's technology.
Yeah, thank you so much, first and foremost, for having me. It is such an honor to be here. For those who don't know me, I've actually been patching for almost 2.5 years now, which is so wild to me to think that time has gone that fast. I wore the patches for about almost a year before I actually shared them with practice members. And I always like to be transparent about who I am and my story. I'm a resistor. I have to learn all the things about all the things and experience it for myself before I share. So I'm not like most people who get the patch and share it immediately with somebody, although I encourage that now as well. But I always like to be transparent about that because I really did think it was too good to be true. And so I always start with that because it just, I don't know, everybody I talk to just feels like this is just new information and it feels too good to be true. And I thought that too. So it makes it relatable and eases people into understanding that this is something we've never seen before. This is truly a unique, iconic, and long term vitality restoration experience. It is not something that is a quick fix or a treatment. And that's what I tell every patient up front that I'm working with, whether I'm working with them in vital healing energy vehicles such as chiropractic or German healing knowledge, or I'm sharing the patches with them. And so I always like to just share my story is that, yeah, I resisted and I had a child who introduced me, my middle child introduced me into the German healing knowledge world throughout her pregnancy, my pregnancy with her, and her birth experience, and her newborn experience, experiencing a separation conflict from a very traumatic injury I had when I was pregnant with her at 27 weeks pregnant. And so that led me to literally meeting April Vaughn. Grace Purdue, her daughter, is my next door neighbor. So it was literally divine intervention who handed me a patch for my daughter, and I resisted it until my husband said, "We've tried everything. You might as well just try it." So I did, and understanding the 5 biological laws of nature, my mind was blown. Honestly, my mind was completely blown, and so I spent 6 more months diving into the science of it and understanding it and looking through it from a quantum biology lens, and it just fit. It was something I'd been searching for that I had no idea, like a lighthouse moment. And so I've been wearing the patches. My family's been wearing the patches. My animals wear the patches. All of the things, everybody I can get to patch, I make sure to share the good information with them. And with that, I took the first couple practice members in my practice when I first started sharing. I bought a bunch of patches and I took really the top 10 people that I'd seen for at least 4 to 5 years consistently who had the most dramatic health shifts or the dramatic health stories or had a lot of health expressions, quote unquote, symptomology when I first started seeing them, and that were consistent. And I gifted them the patches in order to see and test it. I wanted to see with my own eyes. And so these were people that I knew, loved, and cared about. They were my community that I wanted to see big changes with, that really the outside world that I was co-managing them with weren't finding answers for them. And I'm not a medical doctor. That's not my claim. That's not what I help with. And so I wanted to provide them something that filled that gap. And it was really beautiful to witness their transformations and their stories. And then it just started spreading like wildfire. And so we have built in the practice, our patches into the practice, into our day one, sharing them with people, educating everywhere we go. In my online ministry, we have a private association where I work with individuals through spiritual healing, biological healing, and we always share the patches there because they provide a grounded level of vital source energy support. And that's how I share them. I think I'm probably one of the few that actually share them in that way, but I really think it honors the level of quality and the commitment that LifeWave has to sharing these patches, because we're not treating anything. Sure, we could see benefits of all different types, but we could see those benefits in various other facets too. The difference here is that we are making a huge change. It's like putting gasoline into a tank that hasn't had gasoline, allowing that car to run again in ways that it never experienced before. And that's how I invite other people to share them, because it just gets people connected in ways that they're not expecting a quick fix, and it's built in for the longevity of it. And that's what we're here to talk about tonight. And so I share with everybody up front, like, if you aren't willing to commit to 365 with this, like, you're surely missing out. Because, I know LifeWave's recommendation is 1 month per decade you are old, but I've seen magic happen beyond those months of people just tapping into longevity and that vital life source energy. I mean, if you've gone 2, 3, 4 decades even with minimum gas in the gas tank, like you're paycheck to paycheck, or you only put $5 in at a time, that's going to make a huge difference when you actually keep a full gas tank and you allow your body to tap into that vital source energy and start to heal when it has all the resources and the means to. It's not just like scraping the bottom of the gallon.
Well, that is an excellent description on how this works. Scraping the bottom of the barrel there, right? We have no gas in the tank, and we're expecting to put on a patch and just to be off and running. I love that. So you said 365. You mean 365 days, correct?
Yes, I have been hosting patch parties for over a year and a half. And everybody that gets on there, I challenge them to 365 days with at least X39, because I've seen the one patch wonders. We all have, and we all hope to be one, and we all wish and hope that everybody is a one patch wonder. But unfortunately, that's just not the case, and it honestly shouldn't be. And so, my mission, and not just sharing the patches, but I think my deeper mission of redefining healing and longevity for people is just really telling them the truth. Like, your body wasn't built in a day. It's not going to heal in a day. There are situations where we can experience like quantum leaps in our healing, in our mental state, in our emotional state, in our physiological state, but there's still time. As a chiropractor, principle number 6 is there is no process that doesn't require time. And so that timeline can collapse if we have more vital energy in the tank, but that doesn't mean it's just going to magically go away. And if it does, then it has a lot to do with our perspective, our biological perspective of how we view healing. And so I always say, just try it for 365 days, because This is unlike anything else we've ever experienced. We can't stop brushing our teeth. We're going to do that at least once, if not, I hope twice a day for the rest of our lives, right? And so if you're doing that a day, you could put on a patch. It's really not that difficult. And people think about, yeah, but it's going to cost me money and it's going to be this. And it's like, well, you could eat a salad once a week or once a day for 365 days a year, and you're probably not going to notice much because you ate one salad a day, you didn't change anything else. And so this is something that adds vital source energy no matter what you do. Sure, the more you do, the more beneficial it is for your entire vehicle of your body. But if you're just putting gas in the gas tank and it's never had it before, that's a huge difference for anybody, no matter if they're in a chronic health symptom situation or in my circumstance, I wasn't in a chronic health situation. I was very healthy. I was very vital and well. And I started patching just to experience it. And I've experienced things like my own third pregnancy that was unlike the other two. I've experienced things with my children that I never actually had the tools to experience before. I've had opportunities to see practice members and patients in my office move through things in timelines that I never imagined was absolutely possible. And it's not because I told them, take this patch, it's going to treat your symptom. It's because I told them, like, if we're going to put this on, you're going to commit to at least a year of this, or we're not committing at all because then you are wasting your money, your time, and your resources. And that's been a really big win for a lot of people. And it can be intimidating for some, but it's something we don't have anything competing against. There's no other product that is doing this in the market. So why don't you just do it and try it? You literally have nothing to lose and only vital energy to gain. And depending on your biological adaptations, your vitality state that you're in, the conflicts you've endured in your life, how much gas you have in your tank left, these are going to add daily deposits into your life that when they keep multiplying, they're going to vastly change. And so like most people, 90 days, they say on average about 90-95% after 90 days notice something. If you have the mindset that you're doing this for a year, that biologically also shifts something inside of you that, like, I'm not actually now looking for a quick fix. I'm actually in the long haul. I know I'm running a marathon. I know I'm training for a marathon. And to me, compliance and commitment to something is more important than purchasing something. In my office, we always commit to a structured care plan before I even show you the price. Because let's be honest, I've given a lot of things away for free in terms of patches, and people who get things for free, if they don't value them, they don't commit to them. So we have to find a health commitment, an emotional goal and connection in mind. And once we do that, people are just like, all right, what do I do now? What patches do I add next? How do I do this? How do I implement this? And then I just continue rolling with it.
That's genius. Okay. Do you all catch that? Yeah, you're going to listen to that replay. Yeah, for sure. 100% agree. Why are some of us still patching? Right, well, April, myself, Laura, Leah, 4.5 years later, right? Because we're filling our vital energy tank. I want you to talk a little bit about that because some people, they just went vital what? Energy
Yes.
what? Tank what? Are you talking about gas in a car, or are you talking about in my body, or am I do I need to what? So let's talk about vital energy and what that means is in terms of with our patches, of course, and what X39 specifically is doing to fill that up. But explain what that is so people understand.
Yeah, so I work through the lens of the five biological laws. That's my, it's not something you have to believe in. It's something that exists inside all of us, similar to gravity. We don't have to guess about these things. They just exist. So no matter if you look through the lens of allopathic medicine, holistic medicine, alternative medicine, Eastern medicine, the five biological laws still exist. It's just that we put different definitions in accordance to these five biological laws and look through a lens differently to apply different rules to the same set of physiology. So basically, physiology doesn't change. If you have a conflict that you endure that's unexpected, you didn't see it coming, this can be someone saying something not nice to you, all the way down to a car accident, all the way down to a trauma. It could be anything that's just, inconspicuous and you couldn't see that that shock was going to impact you. And so when you have the shock, your body has to respond to that shock. It has an instant, cause and effect. There has to be a response to it. And really, what we're doing is we are responding with our vital source energy because we are energetic beings, right? We emit light, we emit frequency. And so we have this, pool of vital force energy. That's how we respond. That's also how we heal. And so when we look through this through the lens of the five biological laws, we have this conflict and then we have the healing phase or the resolution. We're looking to resolve that conflict because even though we think we're here to, eat really great food and have really good friends, like our biology is wired for survival. And if we are not surviving, we are in fight or flight. We are in constant over bombardment, and our system is trying to get us back to that homeostatic balance. And that is what vital life force energy is. It is the communication. It's the ability for energy to move throughout our body. It's the ability for us to have the opportunity to have a mental balance, to have an emotional balance, to have a physiological balance. It's our psyche, it's our organs, it's our tissues, it's our body systems, it's how our body responds. And so I like to explain the body like a vehicle, or if you will, a computer. So if we have a computer and it gets a virus, that is a program or a conflict that we have to resolve. And so if we don't have a lot of memory in our computer, we don't have a lot of space, we don't have a lot of capacity. It's like a Windows 7, which I actually just deleted a bunch of stuff off my mom's Windows something computer for her to trash it, and it went so slow. So she had like low vital life force energy of her computer. It's that same thing. It's like we cannot heal in any capacity, no matter what you throw at it, unless we have that. And there's no product on the market like X39. X39 allows your own body to create its own biological variants out of necessity via your own light. And that's what's different. It's not, I always use the example in my patch parties, like we all like to go out to eat, but we all know a homemade meal is so much better, right? You'd rather eat from your own kitchen table, where it came from, farm to table, source understanding of where that food came from, than an outside meal. And so we would rather make our own biological healing variants or necessities with our own light instead of putting it in from the outside. So supplements, natural products, sure, they can be great at helping boost it, but there's nothing like homemade. There's nothing like something literally encoded by your own light. And we could talk for hours about the quantum biology aspect of that, of your own light shining back in and recoding your own cells. But I won't geek out on that right now. But when you look at vital source energy, that's what it is. And that's what X39 does. It allows your own light to create abundance in a system that was dark or wasn't able to shine as bright. For chiropractors who maybe will watch this, I get a lot of chiropractors, I'm going to call you all out, that think this technology or think that this product, isn't something that is in alignment with our philosophy. And so I always like to share too, because I have lots of chiropractors on my team that I've shifted in perspective. We talk about this subluxation, and the subluxation means less light in the body, in the nervous system. It's an interference between the communication of the brain and the body. It literally translates from Latin to less light. And so what we do as chiropractors is we adjust and we connect the connection and allow the light to shine. And so the research in X39 is no different than the research in the philosophy of chiropractic and how we are actually reconnecting things in our body via our own light. So I always love to share that because most people don't understand chiropractic to begin with. And then they always they want to counteract or combat with like, well, this light thing, we're not light. We are actually all light and we only communicate via light, sound, and frequency. And so when you have this, it's literally turning the light, it's like deer in the headlights, if you will, to all of the things in your body that has infinite possibility to change. And that's also why I tell people, like, I don't know what's going to happen to you. I don't know what's going to happen when you put this patch on. You could feel better, or you could actually feel worse. Because think about having sludge in your gas tank. It's been sitting there for like 6 months, not moving, not grooving. And then all of a sudden, your body has enough energy to resolve a conflict. And when you resolve a conflict, that means it requires inflammation, heat, and some type of exudate or water. And so now you get inflamed or you feel yucky or you feel nasty and you're like, these patches don't work. It's like, no, they're actually doing something. So when you lead from this perspective of longevity and how you're able to walk with them hand in hand, you're guiding them. You're like, oh, wait, you wanted to drink a little bit more water after wearing them? Great, that's because you need fluid in your system in order to heal. Oh, wait, you got more tired and your sleep got worse than it was before? Fantastic. We're aware of something different right now, and we have more energy to conserve for healing so that you could get more energy later. And so that's how I explain in simple terms with analogies, which are my favorite, by the way, the vital life force energy and how it could transform your entire healing experience with X39 and even outside of that without making claims, without saying we're treating anything, because we're actually.
Oh, we lost your sound. We lost your sound. Nope.
How about now? Can you hear me
Yep,
now?
now I can hear you. There you go.
But yeah, your supplements aren't treating anything either. And, I know we all like to share what happens to us and our benefits, but it all really is an internal experience. And that's why it's so different. No matter what you do, how long you wear the patches, that's why no matter if two people have the same conflict or symptom or dis-ease in their body, it may look different in terms of healing.
I love that. So let's go back to something you said, because I have been going to the chiropractor since I was 18 years old. I haven't seen a medical doctor except for the lady that did deliver both of my children. But other than that, chiropractic care has been my primary care my entire life. I'm 51 years old. So I have never once heard a chiropractor. Of course, I'm all about knowing the word subluxation. They're always talking about that, but I've never heard them say less light.
Mhm.
That's what you said, right? Less
That's
light.
correct. Yes.
And so their
So
job is to repair that subluxation to allow more light, more communication in the
mhm.
body. Is that right? Am I understanding that right?
Correct. And even to push it a little bit further in alignment with how it aligns directly with LifeWave, right? We
Yeah.
can't make claims that the patches do anything because they don't. And technically, philosophically, if you look into 33 principles of chiropractic, the adjustment itself actually isn't even correcting the subluxation. It's your own body. You're providing a force that the body can do something with because it's the intelligence, it's the innate intelligence of the body. So it's no different if you apply a force, which I always like to tell people, like, you could literally get in a car accident and be better, and someone could get in a car accident and be worse because it's a force that your body either has the capacity or the vital life force energy to do something productive with, or it doesn't. And the same thing happens with the patch, right? You could either feel better or feel worse, but it's not that the body's not doing something. It's that you put something and give the body a vital life force energy tool, and it has the intelligence to do that. So it really is, I believe, hand in hand. And I will go head to toe with anybody um, on that topic because in the philosophical world of chiropractic, that is the root of chiropractic. Over 125 years of chiropractic, that is the root of where it stemmed from looking at the quantum biology of the nervous system and how we all communicate via light.
Wow. I'm sure no one's going to want to go head to head with you on this, girlfriend. I don't think so. I think they're going to listen to this and go, yeah, I'm going to need to go back to school. I'm gonna need to do some more coursework. What were her degrees again? What were her letters? I'm gonna need to do some of that. No, I love it. I love it. Thank you so much for sharing that. So let's talk a little bit about, yes, 365 days. I'm a big proponent of stop patching when you want to start aging. Okay? So that just means it's a tool in your toolbox you're using forever, right? Just like your teeth, your being brushed, your water, your meditation, your nature, your all the things, sleep, all the things. So it's a tool, and like you, it's the most revolutionary thing I've ever seen in my entire 51 years of life on this planet. Thank you, God, for David and all of his divine inventions and creations and everything, right? But how do you help people through the process, especially in the beginning, if they aren't feeling, or maybe they're feeling things that they felt so bad before, maybe they didn't really even realize how bad off they were. But they start feeling things and they're like, I don't feel so great. Or things are shifting. I always say they're shifting and sorting. They're shifting around in your body. Stay patient, drink more water, add electrolytes, things like our Cellergize. How do you help people through that in the beginning? Do you use other patches to help them with these, I don't want to say symptoms, but these things they're now aware of in their body that they weren't aware of before because they felt so bad for so long? What do you do?
So yeah, I walk through them. I mean, first of all, I'm always educating on the five biological laws because knowledge is powerful when implemented. And I think that's the biggest key is like most of us are scared to learn something because we've been thrown dozens and dozens of unnecessary information about a lot of things. But when you truly feel into understanding the five biological laws, it's like a resonance. Like your subconscious knows it. It's like when you bring it to the prefrontal cortex, it's like, aha. So when I educate them about that, it actually shifts a lot because they understand the physiological processes. And so, what I typically do is I implement everybody with X39 and Eon on the front end because I think it's really important to get everything mobilizing in terms of more vital energy pools. So, that's how I explain it. Like, we all love that one amazing, savvy, beautiful pool, but like, why can't we have more of those? Like, why can't we have two pools in our backyard? Why can't we have five pools in our backyard? But the key is that we have to, in my opinion, we have to implement them in an honorable manner. We can't just run into a dark room and put on 1,000 LEDs because that is when it gets yucky and it feels yucky. And I think healing for me is always going to be a marathon. I don't think there's ever a necessity for healing to be a sprint. And I know a lot of people don't actually think about that. They don't have a definition of health. So, like, when you get to the nitty gritty, what is your definition of health and what is your expectations in this? And then you start with X39 and Eon because those are really easy, gentle, low and slow ways that can shift a lot from our nervous system perspective, from our mental state and our mood, as well as down to our whole vital pool of GHK impacting our cells. Like that's the non-negotiable. It says that in the research, right? GHK impacts our cells in a way we've never seen before. So when we're producing our own GHK via our own light, we start to actually see things change. And so I typically recommend to my patients anywhere from, 2 weeks to a month on X39 and Eon because we don't want to interrupt the things that are starting marching. They find their own cadence. I don't want to interrupt it. And that also tells people that you're not expecting big changes because if you get one, that's a bonus. But it's also like we're restoring something here that's necessary for your long-term survival, not just right now. And so then I always move towards carnosine. Carnosine for me, I think, is a really un tapped into patch that people don't look a lot into. But if you read the research in the amino acid carnosine and what it does for the body, especially in majority of us that are deficient in those things and haven't had the opportunity, especially how carnosine impacts our emotions and our conflicts that we're experiencing because we live very modern day lives. We don't live very laborious, we're not out chopping wood every single day. We're behind a desk stressed out. It's a mental thing. And carnosine plays a long way in that. So if we add carnosine in, I find there's a really big shift that happens after X39 and Eon. We add carnosine and then we move forward. And so I'm a big proponent of not pushing a detox. I believe really in trust in our detoxification systems in our body. Like they are vital and they will turn on when necessary. We don't have to unclog them or flush the toilet when unnecessary. So I add glutathione typically 6 to 8 weeks after patching with X39. And I find that gives a great opportunity for another pool to open up. And we're just opening up more abundance and healing. And then, of course, you could start Ice Wave, Energy Enhancer at any time, even SP6. Like those are things that aren't like they're not like big cannonball splashes. They're just going to add a little bit more space or surface area to the pool. And then, I always love. Oh, I forgot aloe vera. I always forget aloe vera. I add aloe vera before I add carnosine. So I go X39 Eon and then aloe vera and carnosine because I think aloe vera is necessary for the nighttime routine. I think it's a great circadian rhythm. It provides an opportunity for us to have that robust cycle of experiences. And then, X49 is one that I just throw individually if I feel like it's going to be optimum for someone to add in at some point in time. There's not really like a special cadence that I use, but I've seen, insane experiences of vital source energy being restored through that simple regimen of easing it in. And it really matches well with the opportunity of how LifeWave offers the patches in terms of getting a kit, getting started, adding an opportunity to your monthly auto ship order, jumping in and upgrading a kit to get more patches. It really flows fluidly with that system. Real quickly, in my pregnancy experience, my third pregnancy, I've birthed all of my children the same way. I've had 3 wild pregnancies, meaning that I had zero prenatal care. I took care of my own prenatal care, never had a test, never had blood work, never had an ultrasound, literally in 3 pregnancies, nothing, never seen a doctor. And so I have a really great research pool. I had all of them at home with just me and my husband, and I was really well, and I've been under chiropractor consistently for over 10 years now. I do all kinds of things. I eat healthy, all the things. And my stress level was pretty consistent, if not getting worse throughout each pregnancy, because I have 3 under 6 years old and 2 businesses and all the things. And so my third pregnancy, I actually met Staci in person when we were in Greece on a LifeWave trip. And I was 20 weeks pregnant. And after the trip, in Greece, I actually went to the south of France and I did a 8-hour hike over 3,000 feet of elevation through the French mountains into a pilgrimage to the Mary Magdalene pilgrimage. And I did it fasted and I did it with X39 and Eon. And it was incredible. I would have never been able to do that. And so my experience with just adding this systematic, like just extra vital energy, my third pregnancy was insane. I literally feel like I understand how women run marathons during pregnancy, and I was the person who stopped working out in the first 2 because I was so tired and stressed all the time. And my LifeWave team's like, when are you gonna have this baby? Like you're still going. You've never rested. What is going on? And it's not that I didn't take rest. I just had so much vital force energy flowing inside of me. And my third child is just so much different. And I know they're all different souls, but health-wise, like just so much different. She was my longest baby. She had the most healthiest looking umbilical cord. And that's thanks to my husband patch patching because, men create the long bones, the umbilical cord, and the placenta. Their DNA contributes to that. So that was a huge shift. We added patches in. My postpartum recovery was insane. I actually retained my amniotic sac, and I was able to build back blood storage. I didn't have to go to the hospital. I managed it at home with homeopathy, and utilizing my own resources and my understanding and wisdom. I don't recommend doing that. Please always make your own best choices, but this was best for me in my situation. And so I was able to utilize the patches to re-bring back all of my blood levels, which was really, really cool. And I wouldn't have ever imagined what would happen if I didn't have these tools and resources and knowledge and have the longevity buildup of wearing these patches. And that's the thing. It's not like it fixed anything. It's that my body had enough gas in the tank to do these things and to experience these things. And my body healed in postpartum the third time. Oh my gosh, like night and day difference. Like I have pictures daily of putting my belly was filled with patches. It went from holding a baby to ha literally like 10 patches, I swear, a day as it was moving and transforming. And it was just so cool and beautiful to see my body after three babies remove stretch marks that I had from my first, and actually go down and heal my skin and heal my vaginal tissue in ways that like it took me months to feel different and my pelvic floor. So I can't advocate enough for just longevity of using these. It goes a long way no matter if you're going to have a baby, you're going to get pregnant, you're going to run a marathon, you're going to have a health crisis potentially. Like you never know when something's going to show up and you want to have that preparation of longevity in your pocket.
Wow, Dr. Kayla. Everybody's like, oh, wow. That was mind-blowingly amazing. Is that even a word? Mind-blowingly? Wow, we are mind blown. Thank you so much for all of that absolutely insightful, intelligent. I love your analogies, simplistic information. It just is so amazing. Thank you so much for
Of
taking
course,
time
my
to be here.
pleasure.
I'm like, do we have to stop? We can go another half hour. Let me ask you like five more questions. No, but thank you so much for taking time to pour into our LifeWave community. I know that these videos, they mean a lot to everyone to be able to learn, to be able to share with others. And you know that ripple effect and how that goes. Thousands and thousands of people will see these videos. I'll definitely get this up right away and get your contact information in here as well, your website, so they can learn a little bit more about all the things you just said.
Yeah.
Because that's definitely, this is going to be replay, repeat in the morning for sure while we're putting on makeup, taking all that in. But I'm just so grateful. I'm so glad that we got to reschedule and come
Yeah.
together on this Zoom. I really appreciate you taking the time to pour into our community. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. It's always an honor. My mission is in life is to be a disruptor and spread some information and insight and to get people thinking. So it's an honor for me to be here and thank you so much for asking me and staying consistent and getting this back on the schedule. And I'm happy to help any way I can in the LifeWave community because I think this is something that is literally changing lives in ways that we've never seen before.
I love that. Thank you so much, Dr. Kayla. So, of course, you
Yeah.
guys, as you know, get back with the person that invited you here. They're going to talk to you more about what patches would be best for you. Obviously, as Dr. Kayla said, X39 right out of the gate. Eon, I'm a big proponent as well too, and then start building that pack from there, and they can help you further with any other information that you need. So thank you all for being here this evening. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Dr. Kayla, and everyone have a fantastic evening. See you all soon.
Thank you. See ya.